The Day of Infamy speech was delivered by President Franklin D. Roosevelt on December 8, 1941, the day after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Here's a brief overview of the story behind this historic speech. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise military strike on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. The attack resulted in significant loss of life and damage to the U.S. Pacific Fleet. The next morning, President Roosevelt was informed of the attack while he was having lunch at the White House. Roosevelt then decided to address a joint session of Congress to inform the nation about the attack and to ask for a declaration of war against Japan. He worked with his secretary, Grace Tully, to draft the speech, which was kept short and to the point. Delivering it on December 8th of 1941, Roosevelt delivered the speech to a joint session of Congress, and the speech is famous for its opening line, "Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy." In that speech, Roosevelt denounced the attack as a deliberate and unprovoked act of aggression and called for a united response from the American people. The speech was broadcast live on radio and was heard by millions of Americans. It galvanized public opinion and led to the United States' formal entry into World War II. Congress declared war on Japan with only one dissenting vote, marking the beginning of America's involvement in the global conflict. The Day of Infamy speech is considered one of the most powerful and memorable speeches in American history. It not only marked a turning point in U.S. foreign policy, but it also demonstrated Roosevelt's leadership and the ability to rally the nation, and his words are as follows.
Mr. Vice President and Mr. Speaker, and members of the Senate and House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking towards the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply stating that it seemed useless to continue the existing diplomatic negotiations. It contained no threat or hint of war or of armed attack. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening time, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. Yesterday, the Japanese government also launched an attack against Malaya. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Hong Kong. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Guam. Last night, Japanese forces attacked the Philippine Islands. Last night, the Japanese attacked Wake Island. And this morning, the Japanese attacked Midway Island. Japan has therefore undertaken a surprise offensive extending throughout the Pacific area. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. The people of the United States have already formed their opinions and well understand the implications to the very life and safety of our nation. As Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense. But always will our whole nation remember the character of the onslaught against us. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people, in their righteous might, will win through to absolute victory. I believe that I interpret the will of the Congress and of the people, where I assume that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, but will make it very certain that this form of treachery shall never again endanger us. Hostilities exist. There is no blinking at the fact that our people, our territories, and our interests are in grave danger. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. I ask that Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.